Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 132 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. So we go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. We really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. So in these episodes, we cover everything to do with the gym, nutrition, diet, workouts, fitness programs like 75 Hard, supplements, untapped training, which, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out about that. We continue to bring on new people, especially here in the last couple of weeks. It's been awesome. So any questions about that, reach out to us in any way, and we would be more than willing to help you. And last but not least, and this is kind of what we have today in a way, this is kind of a breaking news / physical vitality type episode, but sometimes we will take trending topics or articles within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Guys, these episodes are full of free game, free tips, free knowledge, things like that. Super info-packed episodes, so make sure you pay attention.
Yeah, dude. Super excited for this episode today.
Yeah.
Our third format, guys, is our breaking news format. That is a current event-based format. Now, on those episodes, we touch on current events and current articles going on in the world. Obviously, there's a lot of that right now, but one of our biggest things here we make a point of is not dooming and glooming over that 24/7, because it's very easy to do that. So those episodes are important. We talk about current events and how important they are to attach to our other formats, but it is not us just sitting here crying about the state of the world. So on to our fourth format now. That is our Knights Table format. It is a masculinity-based format. That is when we touch on toxic masculinity, what it is, if it's real, fatherhood and how important it is, men in general and how important they are to the world, and male-based topics in general. Now, keep in mind, I'm 26. Wurtz is 25. Mitchell is 24. Because of that reason, we are not coming to you as some all put together perfect man. The only perfect man to ever walk on this earth is Jesus Christ. Now, onto our fifth format. That is our guest format. The guest format is when we sit down with a doctor, professional athlete, entrepreneur, pretty much anybody that brings you value and you guys can learn from. And we also end up learning a ton from, no matter if we know the person or not. We aim to bring you value with our guest, and it's very important who we bring on because we really revere the people that we do bring on. Now, guys, our final thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
Just put my full government name out there.
I'm not sure if I knew that.
Social Security out there.
I'm not sure if I knew that or not.
Just throwing my full government name out there. Holy shit.
He's got the Fed work going on.
It's just unbelievable.
That's what he's worried about.
I was going to say there, howdy fellers. I was going to be funny, but you just throw my full government name.
Full government
name. Guys, big news. We got a taste of fall this week.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, we got a taste of fall. I mean, Mitch is in a freaking hoodie. I'm in long sleeves. You're in pants.
Yep.
Like, what a week.
I mean, I can see
it.
No, I can see you as a pumpkin spice latte kind of girl.
But I'm definitely.
Don't give me that. No, don't lie.
No, honestly, I'm not.
What are you, a vanilla cold cream, cold brew, whatever?
Vanilla sweet cream cold brew.
There we go.
With the foam on top.
Yeah, we say we just exposed him. We know. Gay. Yeah, we know he's a Starbucks lover.
Scooters. It's a caramel cold brew, also with the foam on top.
Ballsy.
Dude, it's good. It's good
Man,
stuff.
He's just getting exposed
on
right
the pumpkin thing though. I do not like. I don't like pumpkin taste.
Don't give me that.
I don't.
I don't.
I'm all for fall candles. I've already said that a gazillion times. Like, awesome.
Big Bath and Body Works guy.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Even though they have
no, they don't. No, they don't.
It's like 5% of the store is male stuff. 5%.
But
so
hey,
it's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Like the colognes and stuff, though. I mean, Mitch, you know, like smoked old fashioned.
Yeah, they're good.
Woo! Baby, it smells good. It smells good.
Yeah, you're 100% a fall girl.
You're
100%.
Obviously. But also, like, college football starts this week.
Yeah, it's exciting.
NFL starts next week. MLB playoffs are coming up quick. Like, man, it's just a good time of the year.
I think Arenado is going to bat 450 in the playoffs. I can smell it.
Well, we got to make it to the playoffs first.
Well, we are. Yeah.
Hey, 2011, Cardinals were 10 games back in September.
Oh,
And guess what?
now that's interesting.
We're 10 games back right now,
Yeah.
and it's almost September. So
Talk
hey,
to me. Talk to me, Bush.
that's what I'm saying,
Talk to me,
dude.
Bush Stadium.
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's what I'm
go.
saying. Yeah, we had a great time at
It
the
was awesome.
Dodgers game.
4 homers total. 1 Shohei.
Plus a
3
Shohei
Cardinals
homer.
ones. Yeah, it was sick.
Between the 2 games I got to go to, like Shohei homer, Mookie homer, Shohei steals bases, Cardinals hit a bunch of homers. Like
Shohei stole 2 bases.
yeah,
The game
and
right
I
there.
did I not? I go, hey, he's gonna steal right here.
Yeah, you
And
called it. Yeah.
You go. Shohei can run too. I go, oh yeah, he's got like 35 bags to go with his homers.
Whose homer? Did you call one of the Cardinals homers?
Arenado that
Yes.
night.
Yeah, you did.
And then
Yep.
when we're recording this, last night was the Arenado walk-off grand slam, which was sweet.
Yeah, nasty.
Yeah.
Against the Brews.
I love it, dude. I'm pretty excited about this episode. And we were kind of talking about this before, but this episode we get to like actually talk sports due to
Exactly.
the topic. You know, we get to talk about the University of Stupid California. I mean, University of Southern California. Sorry, USC football.
University of Stupid California. That's it. That's the best we can come up with. University of Shit California or some. I don't know. Like
University of
Yeah, I got
Stupid California. We do California.
that's true. Yeah, that's kind of
Shady,
like classic. Like,
shady California. Because they do shady stuff there. I don't know.
Yeah, Mitchell's blown away over there right
Mitch
now.
is like, what are they doing? What are they talking about? Come on, give us your best USC acronym here. Come on.
No, because those all sucked ass.
Okay, so do better.
I'm not. Because
Mister,
what
I'm
else are you
funnier
gonna
than you.
say about it?
Come on, you think you're funnier than
Hey,
us.
are you a college football player?
Am I?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Mitchell, we're just asking for acronyms of the USC.
I don't have it.
Of USC. God, never mind.
Dude's just not funny.
Scrap that. Scrap that.
Cut.
Bit.
Cut
Scrap
that.
bit.
Cut that.
We're done with
Mitch,
that.
edit yourself out there, please.
Yeah.
Gonna edit my government name out. That's for sure. Holy shit.
We're going to bleep it.
Yeah. I think we should.
So, guys, you actually found this video on the Tick of Talk. So,
Least focused physical vitality episode coming up.
oh boy. You found this video on TikTok of kind of like a double stitched video.
Yes. Yeah.
Is sort of what it was. This guy, this one of the guys is basically trying to say that the USC football team was doing steroids. You know, they had these huge before and after transformations where the afters, I mean, they are just freaking yoked. You know, like they look awesome.
Yeah.
For that matter.
Like dweeb to like jock on campus type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah,
One of the
yeah,
like the classic transformations.
Absolutely.
There. Yeah.
And then that stitch cuts off pretty quick. And then the other guy comes in and, you know, is just kind of talking about how like, hey, no, there's a reason behind this. And so before we cover it in too much more depth,
Yeah.
we are actually going to play the video here in a second. So those of you viewing, you will actually watch the video that we are talking to. Those of you listening, you'll just hear it. But if you want to actually see the before and afters that we're talking about and kind of see what he's talking through as he's talking, then go over to YouTube and at least watch this little segment. But I think it's like a minute 20, so here you go. Here's the video.
Now, because what did the USC football team feed their players this offseason? The USC football team has gained 1,400 pounds of muscle mass this offseason.
The cafeteria. Yeah, a lot of y'all don't understand. It's the cafeteria. The average high school athlete has no idea what true nutrition can do for you and what it looks like. No matter how many times you work out, no matter how many times you lift, they have actual meal plans designed and individualized, personalized for each and every one of them. Let's say if you came in an undersized freshman, coach wants you to gain weight, you're not eating what everyone else is eating. You're not even eating what everyone on your team, hell, in your position group is eating. At that level of college football, those guys can afford to be able to feed their players a certain way. They want them to gain weight, lose weight, gain more muscle. And before y'all say, well, Dom, you have no idea what you're talking about, let me show y'all what I look like. This was me in high school. I was about 150, 160 pounds, soaking wet, track and field. This beefy All-American linebacker you see before you, 235 pounds, freight train running at you. That's high school Dom versus middle of college Dom. I went to a small ass Division II in the middle of Silver City, New Mexico. We didn't have access to the same resources and I still found a way. So imagine what they doing at USC.
Nice. So one, that guy's transformation, the second guy talking.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about like jacked
Oh,
after that.
yeah.
And again, this guy's a D2 ball player too.
Right.
I want to but that's an important point that he made about D2 ball, that even those guys, and you and I, this is so funny. This whole thing connects to what you and I were talking about the Cardinals game. So we were obviously observing the strength conditioning coach there.
Sure.
Down in the field with
On
the guys,
both teams.
which both the guys look dialed in down there with the
yeah.
athletes, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But we were talking about how, and we actually looked it up, how strength conditioning doesn't seem to get as much of a push in any other sport but football.
Exactly.
Football, it's a massive push, and including for the NFL teams and college football teams.
Sure.
But for any of the other sports, including the baseball, hockey that we've played and whatnot, definitely not the lacrosses, definitely not the basketballs and whatnot. You know, their strength coaches in those leagues just don't get paid one near the same as they do NFL teams.
Nowhere near.
Which again, a lot of guys are on, more guys are on the team for NFL, and there's a lot of money in the sport, of course. But there's also a lot of money in baseball, which is, it was like $45,000 a year.
Yeah,
was the salary,
there
like-
was a wide range.
Yeah, 45 to 81, if I remember
I
correctly.
think that's what it was,
and
yeah.
that was similar for hockey too.
Yeah.
And that also blew me away a little bit that hockey was the same as baseball.
Sure.
Because there's more money in baseball, which so that
100%.
lost my mind a little bit. But
I mean, we were there watching a $700 million player.
literally.
700.
Yeah. Yeah. and again, like you think of the richest guy in the NFL, it's per year, it was Jordan Love now. But
Yeah.
before that total, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Right. And
500
Herbert
million.
is up there too. I think,
Exactly.
now.
Yeah. So, similar money in the NFL to a
Sure.
certain degree, as the MLB. And so this actually ties in really well to that conversation we were having because again, like these guys that are at the college football level, D1, D2, less so D3 from what I understand,
Sure.
what you and I have seen and looked into when it comes to strength coaches there.
And probably JUCO as well, I would
And
guess.
JUCO and like the NAIA or whatever,
Sure.
that type of stuff. Of course, that's less, and I know it's less because I was at MOBAP and I
Yeah.
worked with some of the guys there. It was
Sure.
much less there.
Sure.
But the D1, D2 level, this guy was hitting on it a bunch perfectly. The second guy talking in this video is that they feed these guys like crazy. And so when I was at Iowa State, I started out actually looking into athletic training. So my first semester, I was in athletic training, found out I didn't want to do it. But the point is that I got hours with the football team, shadowing time for a little bit. And I saw their process at the D1 football team. And Iowa State is really not that great of a program.
Well, but it's no small school.
It's
though.
no small school.
It's a
by any
Big Ten
means.
school.
Again,
Or
Big
12?
12. Big
Big
12.
12,
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, 34,000 people usually, or 35,000, whatever the number is at Iowa State. So I would go there and it was the athletic trainers, they'd be there from like 5:30 to 8 in the morning. That's when I would shadow before class. And I'd show up there. The players had already been there since like 4:30 in the morning. They were there, the players were until 7:30
Oh, wow.
in the morning. That was strength conditioning and some like skill work. So they had that in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's part of their exercise. Then they have a break to go to class from like 8 to noon or 8 to 1 or so. Practice then starts at 1 o'clock and goes till about 5 or 6 for the players.
Yeah.
At least. Not to mention probably, who knows, conditioning involved in that 1 to 5, 1 to 6 time or whatnot. So these guys are doing that. But also you see while you're there, the nutrition of these athletes. It's completely different than any of the general population.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's not comprehensible when we talk about topics
Exactly.
like this, because people don't understand that you can pack on a ton of muscle like that, especially when you're an 18, 19-year-old with a ton of testosterone.
I was going to make that point as well.
I mean,
yeah.
no doubt.
And when you're that age and you're getting fed correctly, not only just the correct foods, but the correct amount of foods, and you're in prime, ages to be building your body, at a big school like that, because like we mentioned, it doesn't just have to be the big schools. Like the guy in the video mentioned, it's not just the big schools. However, when you're at an Iowa State, for example, you have access to just about anything you could possibly want.
Yes.
As a high level athlete,
Including NIL stuff now too.
Yeah,
so
sure.
even that added on top of it.
and so when you're in that situation, I mean, of course you're going to make crazy transformations like that, and you're practicing twice a day. So not only are these, 18 to probably at most 24-year-olds, somewhere in that range, with COVID year, I think still
Grad
being
transfers or
around,
whatever,
grad
yeah.
transfers, red shirts, injuries, things like that. So 18 to 24, whatever. And let's see, I just kind of lost where I was going with that actually.
Well, you were saying again, like these 18 to 24-year-olds, that age range again is perfect for the building muscle. is what it was.
Yes. So they're that age where their metabolism is, I mean, it's going crazy.
Yep.
You add on top of it 2 practices a day. You're awake, or at least doing things from 4:30 in the morning until 5, 6 p.m. as far as activity-wise, because then you're probably up doing homework and other stuff after, because somehow you have to be a student.
Somehow,
But let's be honest, they're athletic students, not student athletes.
Right.
know what I mean?
That's always been at D1 schools. I saw that
Yeah.
in person. That was BS. The
Yeah.
basketball team and the football team
Yeah.
at Iowa State, both of them were athlete students. Yeah.
100%. People are going to Alabama to play football.
Yeah. I'm not going to Alabama to get my degree.
Yeah, you're the starting quarterback at Bama. You don't care about math.
Yeah.
You know
Which
what I mean?
I'm sure those guys still do well, but
Sure.
a lot of
And-
times like the finance degrees and whatnot. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But where I'm getting now is you have to feed yourself. And these schools and these programs and the coaches have to feed these players. You got all those things I just mentioned. I mean, there's probably days where a lot of the players, not just the linemen, are probably close to 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what I
Linemen.
mean?
Yeah. Because again, they have to maintain their size. Linemen have to maintain
Dude,
that
yeah.
300 to 330 size.
Right.
That is hard. Now, granted, those guys probably aren't doing as much specific conditioning as some of the
Sure.
receivers,
No
running
doubt.
backs, cornerbacks, all that.
But their body's working harder.
100%.
You know what I mean? So those calories.
They're still pumping weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in practice too. I mean,
Uh-huh.
like their body is working harder than your 170-pound wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't say harder, but at a minimum as hard
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much more weight, height, mass to maintain.
Yep.
Than
Hips going laterally like they do and whatnot.
knees.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
gosh. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
you
There's a
know?
reason a lot of them wear braces or they have knee injuries and
Yeah.
like that in the O-line. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the thing though, is like, and what's so funny to me is that people don't want to admit that this is possible.
Mhm.
That's what's so disappointing to me, because I think a lot of people write themselves off. It's like, oh, I could never do that, so it can't be done.
Well, and I'm going to add to your point that is possible naturally,
Yes.
which is our point here.
Yeah. Because that's obviously what was the discussion, is that there was now actually I think I saw some other stuff on X somewhere. I don't really know if I did or not, but I know I saw an extra article somewhere, whether it's TikTok or X, doesn't matter, where it was discussing like this person thought they were on steroids, and I was like,
Like they themselves thought they were on steroids?
No, like they thought the athletes were on
oh,
steroids that did that. And again, these USC athletes in particular got jacked.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Now, again, we don't know what year these kids were either.
Sure.
So we don't know if it was a sophomore going into junior year, a junior
Yeah.
going to senior year. We don't know. It was probably a incoming freshman coming in and already having a decent physique and whatnot, decent fitness level and
If
whatnot.
they're at USC, it's a safe assumption.
It's
I
a
would
safe
say.
assumption for sure. So they already had that, but then you add in the D1 diet
And the
D1
direction,
training.
the direction, there's another word I'm missing there, but the guidance, the correct guidance in those types of things, because in high school, you're kind of guessing, like, that eating chicken breast is really good for you, and eating rice with it is also really good for you. Eating pasta can be really good for you. You know those things, but you're still a high school kid, so you're still going to Culver's with your boys. You're still going to
Gas.
McDonald's. Oh yeah, Culver's is great.
Yeah.
So you're still doing those things, and we've talked about, like, at those ages, it's okay.
Don't be a hardo.
Yeah.
And again, like if the kid's interested in doing that, like if my son was like, "Hey, Dad, I see you doing all your stuff," like I want to do it. Oh, obviously,
100%.
obviously, I'm going to encourage that.
Yeah,
but I'm also not going to force it down his throat that he
For
needs to
sure.
be eating, the perfect diet.
Yeah,
24/7.
You set the habits and they'll follow. We've got some high school athletes at Legacy that they don't really go out to fast food and stuff like that. Like, they're focused. Down the road, they're probably going to go further.
Correct.
Not strictly just because they eat well, but because they have those good habits in place already. So they understand that with the diet, with the work, and all of those things, and sleep, they're going to go further. When they're on road trips with the team, they're not always out playing basketball with all the other boys. They're still getting a workout in at the hotel. Might not be the best workout, but it's a workout. You're not wasting your time.
You're still getting the stress adaptations out of that.
100%.
For sure. Yeah, you're still getting the work done. Not to mention the mental adaptations that come from that too.
Exactly.
When you just get the work done, and your boys are out doing something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, another aspect, because we'll again touch on all this stuff and repeat it again in more in-depth way too, but like another aspect a lot of people do not like to accept about this specific thing, but in general about these D1 athletes. Once you get to the D1 athlete level and above, these guys are genuinely freaks. And even like that guy that was the second guy talking, D2 athletes can be very much so, especially for football, mainly for football, can absolutely be freaks and more than likely are freaks.
I mean, for that matter, at almost every level of college sports, almost. And I'm not saying every single player, but just for example, because I have evidence with this, but like JUCO baseball here in Missouri is extremely good, almost all around. You have your bottom tier schools for sure, but a lot of junior college baseball here in Missouri is at very high level. I have guys that I played with at Mineral Area that are in professional baseball now, have gotten drafted. Actually, one of them was traded at the trade deadline to the Tigers. I sent you that, and I'm like, dude, he was one of my really good friends when I was down there, and one of the other guys, he went on to play, I think at Arkansas State after Middle Area, but his brother is Gavin Stone, who has been one of the Dodgers' best pitchers all year long this year. Little different there, but still just my point is at almost all levels of college sports, you're going to have your freaks.
Yeah.
You're going to have those dudes. Sometimes they're at JUCO because they couldn't maintain good grades or something like that, or they couldn't afford a big school. They couldn't get the big scholarship, so they had to go play at a different level for a couple of years, and then boom, they got better, and now they do get the big scholarship at Alabama or at Texas Tech or at Vanderbilt for baseball or, whatever it is, or Arkansas State for that matter.
Yeah.
And so absolutely even at D2 football, it's not Alabama, but still a pretty high level
There's
of football.
D2 guys that go to the NFL.
100%.
Oftentimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, too, is because JUCO baseball is a great example for that, because JUCO baseball is probably like the only JUCO sport you think of like having really good athletes at.
For sure.
Most of the time. For the most part.
Yeah.
Like JUCO baseball would be the only sport. Like there's obviously no JUCO hockey, but JUCO baseball is really good.
Sure.
Really good.
When you hear JUCO football, you definitely think less of it. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But, and I tell a lot of our high school boys, I go, do not count out going to junior college for baseball. I know it's not the sexy thing to do. I fully get that. It's not the Mizzou. We just had a kid commit to Mizzou already. He's an incoming junior at Francis Howell High School. Like, some of you will definitely know who I'm talking about. But you see that, and it's like, well, why am I not getting offers from Mizzou or Tennessee or whatever? But why I tell them to not count it out is, number one, you can still play college baseball. Number two, a lot of those bigger schools and professional organizations will look at JUCO players before they will look at high school players for their next wave. Because if you just got done playing 2 years at a JUCO and you played well, guess what? You've already got 2 years of college baseball under your belt. You don't need to sit the bench at Mizzou for 2 or 3 years before you can finally see the field. You're going to see it right away because you've already got that experience, and they know. It's like, oh, well, he was playing in this district in Missouri. I can't remember the name of it. District 10 or something? No, that was Legion. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it here in Missouri. But it's like, wow, okay, he was playing the Jeffcos and the Crowders and the State Fair and St. Charles and St. Louis Community Colleges. Like, these schools have guys that are pumping 95, 96, 100, whatever it is. We had guys pumping 100 at our school. And that was 7 years ago. Oh, God.
Wow, that was rough to say there, wasn't it? Yeah.
We were freshmen in college 7 years ago, dude.
Yeah, Wurtz.
Literally, because this is fall.
No shit, because we're old.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Bad. Real bad.
That's a sucky realization.
Real bad.
Are we JT?
Yeah. We already knew we were catching up to him. I mean, again, he has a better hairline than I do, so I'm even ahead of him. So,
but my point is like, never count that out.
Yeah.
Because you have that dream of playing college baseball or college football or college softball, for girls, and basketball or volleyball for that matter. Like, you have these dreams of playing a college sport. Like, don't count it out.
Yep.
You still have so many great opportunities. I know I'm not specifically talking about the physical stuff that we have been now, but it does correlate. Where I went to school to play baseball, we didn't have the guidance of the nutrition and really the weightlifting. The weightlifting was just run by one of the baseball coaches. So I didn't take it seriously. Most of us didn't, because I also didn't understand why that was so important. Eating correctly, eating a lot, you know, and properly training in the weight room, lifting heavy, things like that. You know, I didn't care enough about those things at the time, and so I didn't see the results from it, you know? And so in that instance, the JUCO definitely did not provide that for me that a Mizzou would, you know? So there are differences between the levels of schools as far as this type of stuff goes, but for football, from that video, it sure sounds different.
Yeah.
Even at that New Mexico school that he was at playing D2,
Yep.
he had that guidance, you know, and maybe they're an outlier for Division II. Who knows? You know, I don't know if UMSL here in St. Louis, I don't know if they provide, well, they don't have football, I guess, but
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do or
but
not.
I know they have baseball, and I know they have other sports.
Well, I mean, again, Lindenwood, you know, is now D1 level. So like they are definitely getting that type of stuff now. And they
For
and I
sure.
know they were a D2 too. Because
Yeah.
even their hockey team, that's why they went NCAA D1.
Yeah.
Is because of the fact that they were getting those things provided.
They were
already.
good.
Their ACHA team was already getting
Right.
provided that way. So yeah, and again, like that goes, there's always that like thin line to walk with the genetic talk, because genetics are absolutely a real thing. And I think a lot of people forget about that, because essentially, and this is a conversation we saw today, essentially like Patrick Mahomes, for example, would be a phenomenal football player no matter what. Like more than
Yeah.
likely. As long as he had the same work ethic he had, like for sure he's going to the next level.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt about it. You know, there is the Megatrons, like the Calvin Johnsons
Yeah.
and whatnot. I mean, if he puts in even a little bit of work, he's going to the NFL.
LeBron.
So LeBron, absolutely, 100%. He's more genetically gifted than like an MJ would be and whatnot. MJ
Yeah.
was absolutely genetically gifted,
Yeah.
but he would be even more so. LeBron would be than
Right.
MJ is.
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani, 100%. So like there are like genetic freaks, and like that again, even at that D1 level, at the USC level and whatnot, these guys are also freaks.
Yeah.
So like it's not, you know, it's always so funny because it's always some kind of armchair commentator or whatnot, you know, who still lives in their mom's basement and whatnot, saying that there's no way these kids could put on that muscle. It's like,
Right.
no, you couldn't.
Right.
Like,
And you're not even willing to try.
you're not even willing to give it a shot.
Because what I don't want to happen from what you were just saying is that to then in people's minds be like, oh, well, I'm not a genetic freak, so I can't play college football, baseball, hockey, whatever. I can't make it to the professional level at my sport. Yes, you absolutely can. Yes, you absolutely can. You might just have to work that much harder, though.
Yep.
You know?
Well, and what's difficult too about that is that I think a lot of people also miss the fact that, you know, there are inclinations you have towards different sports. You and I kind of talked about that a little bit, how we have like inclinations toward our certain sports we played and
Sure.
whatnot. Like just in general, like I wouldn't have been a good basketball player. Like we know damn well.
But you could have been.
You know, I could have been probably a decent shooter if I really would have worked
Yeah.
on it, that type of thing. But who knows?
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, I'm a 6'4" white guy, like pure German white guy. You know what I mean? Like that's like essentially the most
Right.
negative genetics for basketball. But you know, the point is that I think that's why it's important to encourage parents as well with their children to explore multiple sports.
Definitely.
Because you'll find out, I mean, there was guys I know that they picked up hockey at 12 years old. I started at 4 years old. They picked up hockey at 12 years old. They instantly found they were good at it.
Yeah.
Instantly. So like there's inclinations you have toward different sports. That's why it's important to have your kids play 3, 4, 5 different sports when they're young.
Yeah.
See what they like the best.
I was gonna say,
because
see what
then,
they enjoy.
then they can work the hardest at it. Again,
Right.
because the hard work is not out of this equation at all. But also, like naturally, everybody's body's different. So we're gonna be inclined towards certain
Yeah.
sports. It's the same thing. Like that 5'6" dude might not be a great basketball player unless
you're
he's
Spud Webb.
unless Spud Webb. Yeah.
Who I think was 5'4"
Literally, yeah. Muggsy Bogues was like 5'3".
and won a dunk
Yeah.
contest.
Yeah, that's wild.
Didn't he jump over Shaq? I think he did.
Or maybe that was Nate Robinson.
Well, Nate Robinson did that. Yeah, maybe that's who was also tiny.
Yeah, he was
He's
also
like
like
Mitch's
5'8", 5'9". Yeah, just midget. Yeah.
Mitch the midget
He's got.
instead of Money Mitch.
There
Don't go there.
defend your honor. Defend your honor. There was this guy on one of my hockey teams that he found out Mitchell's name was Mitch, and he literally would call him Mitch the bitch. And I go, you ever call him that again, I'm gonna beat your ass. Yeah.
I mean, it's also the most fifth grade roast I've ever heard in my life.
brutal.
I mean, you got to have the IQ of a fifth grader.
Well,
it's like that old game
this
show.
particular guy did.
Are you-
Are you smarter than a
Yeah,
fifth
yeah,
grader?
exactly. That's what it is.
Well, we established that we're all at 7th grade reading level, so we're barely smarter.
Hey.
We passed the line. Okay,
We're not part of the majority.
Yeah.
We're on the other side of the bell curve. No worries.
We're on the down part.
Go back to episode 131 if you want to hear that train of thought, guys.
I mean, we were talking about math before this. I mean, we were doing some good old gym math right before
Yeah,
this.
and I
so.
apparently found out I'm the smartest one.
We
in the
did
room.
15 times 6. I mean, we are big time.
The neurons were firing, that's for sure. We were,
I nailed that.
we were sweating.
Buried that equation right
What is
there.
it?
90.
Nice,
No
dude.
big deal. Yeah.
One plate on each side.
It's just what I do. Yeah. One plate on each comedy. Everything's gym math. Everything is.
Boy math.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Boy math through and through. But, and again, the overarching theme with all of this anyways is the concept that literally if those armchair commentators got off their couch, got away from the ruffles and whatnot and all that stuff, because I love ruffles, but not the point. But if they got off that and did what these athletes are doing,
Right.
you would see those results.
Right.
If you and I had 3 hours a day to work out freely and eat perfectly and everything was free given to us, including protein shakes, protein bars, new food, you have literally your diet laid out in a separate cafeteria for most of these D1 schools and whatnot, you're going to be able to get these transformations.
Especially the football team.
Especially the football team.
I've told you this. I'm not sure that I've ever told this story on the pod, but cutting a lot of details out of the story, I found my way into Mizzou's brand new football weight room a few years back.
Yes, I remember you mentioning this.
And no, I didn't like break in or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah.
but I mean, I just kind of walked in. But anyway, and there was nothing going on there. But first of all, the weight room was unbelievable. I mean, it was beautiful, state of the art. Run rockets everywhere. They had a turf hill inside.
That's what I was going to say.
Racks everywhere. I mean, and this was, was this the first year of them being in the SEC? Mitch, can you look up really quick when Mizzou joined the SEC for me?
It might have been back in like 2013, honestly.
Was it? Has it been that long?
I think it has been.
11 years ago?
Maybe not 2013 exactly, but I think it's been a while. Yeah.
Because I was thinking this was like one of the first couple years of them being in the SEC, if not maybe the first year. So my point in that is they were getting all the SEC money. What you got, Mitch?
2012.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Jeez.
So,
yeah.
nope, I was off on that.
But again, like that, the reason they got that money is because they were in the SEC and they had started performing
For sure.
at that point in time. So they started investing in the team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because this was probably 3 summers ago.
Yeah. So that was when Mizzou was, again, starting to move in the right direction.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
They weren't like a great team at the time. They were
Right.
7-5 or whatever, but
Right.
still, they were moving in the right direction.
So anyway, basically brand new weight room and all this specifically for the football team. It's in the football stadium, but in there also, to your point about the protein stuff and things like that being just readily available, inside of there, they had their own Gatorade bar, and clearly someone or someone's worked that bar. That was their job, whether it was a student or whatever, but any kind of Gatorade protein product that you could want, it was right there. I mean, I literally could have grabbed bars because they had just racks of it and baskets full of this stuff. And you could see all the like blenders and things like that back there for the protein shakes and whatever else I'm sure they're mixing up in there. And it's just like, all you got to do is just walk up and boom, there you go.
Yep.
You're not dropping the $120, $150 that you and I are every month at S2 on the first form stuff, Now, granted, we choose to spend that money because we know the value in those products and us taking them. So it's not like we're sitting here complaining about paying for supplements because we certainly do that voluntarily for the ones that we take, but when it's just there for you to have and for you to use correctly, it's on you if you don't get good results. Mm-hmm. Because if you get fat, well, then you're clearly eating stupid stuff outside of what you're supposed to. Yep. If you get fat, you're not putting in the effort in the weight room that you should be. Things like that. Mm-hmm. So even the linemen, you laugh. It's like, oh, they got a bunch of fat guys up there. Well, those fat guys are 350 to 400 pounds, and they're probably faster than us.
Yep. And they have about 250 pounds of muscle mass.
250 pounds of muscle mass.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they have 350 to 400 pound D linemen getting by them. who are also incredibly powerful and fast. So,
Or you got the 280 D linemen
Or the
who
280 D
still run through the O linemen,
100%.
which is crazy because
Unbelievable.
their power distribution throughout their body is
It's
just
crazy.
ridiculous.
I mean, guys, watch any of the current draft combines for the NFL. The linebackers, the D linemen, the O linemen, they move on the 40 and the agility things. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And when you're talking about those three positions, you're talking about guys that are anywhere from 220 to 350 plus, like we were just talking about, you know? And so, yeah, you sit in your armchair and you're like, oh, you know, those are just big fat guys up there. Well, they could break you in half.
Yeah.
And you're also 350 pounds, but you are as wide as a dump truck. You know, you look like one of the tires on the big industrial
you look
dump
like
trucks.
a pile of sludge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sludge is such a funny
Oh,
word.
definitely it is 100%. Yeah.
I'm not even going to say what I picture because it's just like, I don't even know how I would paint that picture.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be a tough
Sludge is just such a funny word.
You know, it's interesting too because you were talking about this, and again, like these are bred savages essentially. Like the biggest gains players make is when they're in college. Like in any NFL guy you see, they become the freak they are when they're in college.
Yeah.
And again, these teams also have registered nutritionists or registered dietitians on staff making very good money. So like these are personalized diet plans they set out for the team and whatnot.
You're
They
talking
have
about the
all that.
NFL.
The NFL too.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like also college. Like college teams also
Right.
have registered dietitians on staff. They have physical therapists. They have athletic trainers. They have the strength conditioning coaches, which the strength conditioning coaches, like at a team like USC, are making $450,000 to $500,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum.
I mean,
What is it? Alabama's like 800, you said, or
something, yeah, because we looked
crazy.
that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we never really finished touching on that point, just the disparity in one respect level and pay for strength coaches across the sports. You know, you've got these big league guys, because again, we looked up Lance Thomason, who's the head strength coach for the Cardinals. And, you know, we didn't find his exact salary, but based on those averages, it's like, this is BS. You know what I mean? Like, this dude is not only in charge of the big league club, and there was only, I think, only one other
There's an
coach.
assistant coach. That's it,
Yeah.
for assistant strength coach.
So there's two of them for the whole big league team, and you know damn well that those two guys are also running stuff throughout the entire organization. Now, each minor league affiliate had their own strength coaches, but you know a lot of that's coming from the top, as it should, because if you're going to be in charge of the big league club, then part of your job is to make sure the guys in the minor leagues are getting ready,
coming up or ready to go
to be in the big leagues. Yeah, on the physical side of things, you know, the skill related stuff for whatever sport. Like obviously that's dependent on other coaches. But you know, we saw the type of work that the Dodgers guy, which we should have looked him up actually too. You know, and I was telling you because I was at two of the Cardinals games that Dodgers weekend. I was there the Friday night with my dad, and I was telling you how I was watching the Dodgers strength coach work with Mookie Betts and how they were doing like the banded, and we saw it again on the night you and I were there, but doing like the banded stride outs and sprints and things like that. And then I told you, I go, dude, I saw it in action. I saw the prep work before the game, and then Mookie Betts in that game lines one down the left field line. For a lot of players is a single, and he's a small guy. He's 5'9". He's tiny. You know what I mean? Like literally, all jokes aside, like he's small. 5'9", so his strides are smaller as well, but he gets a double out of this hit, and as he's rounding first, like you can just see the length and the power in his strides, and it was so cool to be able to witness that before the game both nights, and then actually see it in action on Friday night. It's like, wow, that's a fraction. That's a fraction of what they're doing. That just is pre-game prep work that they happen to be doing there, but they're doing it every day. And so that results in singles being extra base hits for a guy like Mookie Betts.
Exactly.
One of the guys at the top of the game. That's why he's at the top of the game. He's 5'9". He could have every excuse in the book as to why he's not getting doubles. Well, you know, I'm small. I just don't have the strides that Shohei or Freddie Freeman or Bryce Harper or Mike Trout, all these guys that are way bigger. You know, I just don't have the stride length or the sprint speed or whatever that those guys do. No, he works on it. And then I got to see it in action. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. Seeing it in action in the video you guys all just watched or listened to, like the results those guys got, that's seeing it in action, which then we know will absolutely translate to the field. They're breaking more tackles, or they're able to outrun a corner on a route, or they're breaking through the line, so they have 2 more sacks than they did the year before as a D lineman. To whereas if they didn't have that guidance, or they didn't put in the effort or the work to get those results, well, they're getting pancakes blocked.
Oh yeah,
3 more
they're
times.
getting manhandled.
Exactly. Exactly. So to be able to see the results in live action like I did in the baseball side, and then to see these pictures like what we just saw in that video, I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Oh yeah.
And it shows the value not only in all the work and the nutrition, but it also shows the value in those types of coaches. So when we have guys, so I guess this is kind of an advocacy for these guys being paid more, because sure, the title alone is sweet. I'm the head strength coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm the head strength coach for Alabama football. But which one do people gravitate more towards? Alabama football, for
Correct.
sure. It's like, wow, you're the strength coach for Alabama football? I mean, that's big time. Well, what about all these other sports? The NHL guys, I'm a Colorado Avalanche head strength coach. Like, that's a big deal. Those guys should be getting paid correctly.
Yep.
Which
is why as we know, a lot of MLB and NHL players, they outsource to even 2 of our
For
friends
sure.
in Brock
For
and
sure.
Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why they outsource
That's
their
a
strength
very
conditioning,
good point.
because the teams don't prioritize it.
Right. And even guys like Mahomes, we don't know Bobby Stroop personally, so for us to have a legitimate opinion, good or bad, on him probably isn't correct. However, when we have someone that we trust like Brock, putting some certain things out there, that is he exactly the guy? Did he make Mahomes? There's a good chance, probably not. Probably not.
Right.
But even Mahomes and other NFL guys, because I think even Kelsey, there's a couple other Chiefs, but there's also some non-Chiefs guys that work with Bobby Stroop as their strength coach. And as far as the names go, he's got a pretty good track record. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But even to your point there, like, even guys in the NFL are outsourcing. Which,
I mean, Brock trains D1 and then NFL athletes too.
He trains Kyron Williams.
Exactly.
Any of you that are NFL fans, like, who Kyron Williams is. He had a fantastic year as the running back for the wow, I almost just said the St. Louis Rams. The Los Angeles Rams.
You miss them.
And is primed for a big year coming up here.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I can't wait to watch it. One, he's a St. Louis dude, but, like, he trains with Brock.
Yeah, it's sick.
Tony Adams on the Jets trains with Jeff.
Yep.
Like, that's awesome. I think Kyron Williams has actually done some work with Jeff.
He's worked with Jeff as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Brock trains Tarasenko. Obviously, all of us. Barbashev.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dakota Murmis in the Wild organization.
Yeah.
Which I think he got traded to Maple Leafs, actually. But yeah.
But still,
anyways.
Yeah. These guys are being used rather than the team ones. Like, those guys should be getting paid.
Yep. And for the most part, I mean, when it comes to the NHL, the tough part about that too is, and actually the MLB as well, is that the fact that it is 82 game season for the NHL and then 162 games for the MLB. So, like, the strength conditioning probably doesn't get the same focus in season as it should.
Sure. Yeah. And I will say on that point, because our head strength coach at Legacy, actually had an opportunity to meet with the Cardinals strength coach, Lance Thompson. I was telling you this. And they still do quite a bit of lifting throughout the season. Now,
good.
Are they loading as much as they are in the offseason? Absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. They play every single day for, like you just said, 162. And really, it's more than that, because you have 30 spring training games prior. And then if you're actually a good team, which the Cardinals are not, hate to say that, they're not. They're not a good team.
Maybe.
We might flirt our way into the playoffs, but we will get bent over by the Phillies or the Dodgers.
I think we'll make a run.
Dude, I sure hope so.
Yeah, I smell it.
I need October baseball from the Cardinals. Anyway, not the point here. But so you have all those games before the year. Yep. You have 162 during the year, every day, basically every day. And then on top of that, if you're a good team, you're in the playoffs, so then there's more games. Same thing for the NHL. They have preseason, and then playoffs are very long.
Very.
Can't it?
Brutally long.
It can end up being 28 more games.
Yes.
If you went 7 games in all.
If you went 7 games in all of them, it could end up being 28
So there
more
you go.
games. Yeah.
That math is
most teams play at
110.
least 20 plus games. Actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why you'll hear guys that are like, "Yeah, I played in a broken leg and whatnot." And it's like, "What? You did what?"
Or broken face.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys
broken
continue
jaw.
to play. Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So even more so, the strength coaches have more responsibility there because
and much more detailed responsibility to a certain degree.
Yeah. You know, because let's see, ballparking that, 162 plus 30, there's 192. And then the most you could play in the MLB playoffs would be 3, 8, 22 more games, I believe, if I'm doing that math correctly. Because you could play a max of 3 in the wild card.
Yeah, 22.
Max of 5 in the division series, and then a max of 7 each in the championship series and the World Series. So you could be playing an extra 22. That's over 200 games.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
And it's your job to keep all those guys healthy physically.
Somehow.
Yeah. And granted, we did look up on the Cardinals website while we were, trying to find the strength guys. We saw all the different people on the staff. They had their dietitians and nutritionists and things like that, but all the different types of doctors that were on Cardinal staff for the players. And I mean, I don't even remember them all. It was like a super long page.
Yeah, chiro, physical therapist, orthopedic medicine.
Yeah. Dentist was on there.
Dentist was on there, which is hilarious.
The eye one, what's that called?
Optometrist.
Yeah.
I mean, it kept going on.
Tons.
It kept going on.
Yeah, right. So it's like, they have huge responsibilities.
There's obviously detail in the team, for sure.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a professional sport. It has more detail than most of it.
Sure.
But, again, the question is, I mean, and you look at Jeff's doing online training for a couple D1 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Online training.
Right.
So they're outsourcing their training to him for not even in person. Not even in person, a D1 team.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So, but that's, again, like even D1 hockey, like doesn't get the same attention. So
it also shows how good Jeff and Brock are.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Absolutely.
Those dudes are awesome.
Studs.
Yeah.
I mean, absolute beast. But, it's interesting because what I really like about baseball and hockey as well is that size, like physical, freaky size isn't as much of a thing. In the sport, you don't have to be like Mookie can be 5'9", 185.
Sure.
And be one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the NHL, you can still be Sidney Crosby at 5'11", 190 pounds or 180 pounds or whatever he is, a normal-sized human being, and be one of the best players of all time, Sidney Crosby.
I mean, McDavid's a little bit smaller, isn't he?
McDavid, I want to say he's like 6 foot even.
Oh, okay.
I think. And he's, now granted, he's a little bit skinnier. I think he's like 180, 190, maybe 200.
Yeah.
No way he's 200, but yeah.
Again, a normal size human.
Yeah. So like that's what I like about the NHL. Obviously, the NHL probably has like bigger guys you think of than the MLB does, I would say.
Probably.
Because you think of like the Paraycos, like 6'6", 230
Sure.
or whatever. Something like that. But not the point.
A lot of the pitchers are, though.
Yeah, right.
They're very tall.
And kind of like the point I wanted to make there is that you think about, you think about these pictures from USC football. Again, football is the sport where it has what we think of as the freakiest athletes. Like they're the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, that type of stuff. All that, they just have the most also physical size and presence to them a lot of times too.
Yeah.
Again, NBA has height, of course, but there's a difference with physical presence and height.
Sure.
For sure. So like these guys, you think of that transformation is absolutely possible from it. That's overarching point, but so you're going to see a crazier one with football because again, they're also getting the most attention strength conditioning wise, nutrition wise of any sport there is.
Absolutely.
Any sport in the US especially.
Right.
I don't know soccer players. There was a video of
it's not a real
Barcelona.
Yeah.
You see their training? You see that video? Oh, disgusted me. Barcelona was doing the dumbest shit I've ever seen in a workout ever. That is one of the best teams in the world for soccer. Like, is that even a real sport?
No, that's what I just said. It's not a real sport.
It's
fake sport.
Is it made up? Like,
yeah.
And so somehow it's the most followed sport in the world. Yeah.
Well, we got to change that.
Again, that's the thing. I probably could get into soccer more without the flopping and the homo stuff.
Yeah,
like for sure.
Just
like just stop being so soft.
Like a lot of fruity stuff going on.
Very fruity. Yeah. And that's just like that's hard for us too. Like two guys, are like big dudes. Like
I know, like Messi and Ronaldo, like they're crazy good. Ronaldo's a man rocket.
Yeah,
but
just had to slip that in there. He has a Ferrari and a lot of cars, and he's rich, he's handsome.
Messi's making what $1 billion a second or something down in Miami.
They get paid ridiculous money in soccer. Yet they can't hire the right strength coach.
Right.
I'll have to find this video for you. And
Yeah, you'll have to send that
it's
to me.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
And-
literally, I was cringing while watching it.
Yeah.
Literally the last thing soccer players should be doing in these videos. Like,
Yikes.
just horrible.
All
Anyways.
dumbbell curls.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Shouldn't we work on like ankle
I mean,
stability or
granted,
something?
those guys do need bigger arms, but
They do.
you
They
know.
do. Just like a lot of basketball players. Not all of them, because some of the NBA dudes are jacked.
LeBron's jacked.
LeBron's jacked.
Yeah,
for
for
sure. For sure.
LeBron's ripped.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
He sucks.
And he's.
Not at basketball, but elsewhere.
I mean, granted, he didn't go to college either, so
True.
yeah. But we didn't finish college either, so God damn it! I was gonna talk shit. Never mind, I can't.
I have an associate's degree. General transfers.
Same, bro. Same, bro. Good stuff.
Yeah. We're on the board.
stuff.
We're on the board. We're better than LeBron. But there are still in the NHL and MLB, guys, we keep going back to them because those are our sports.
It's the easiest example.
Started
for us
with
to
talking
give,
about
yeah.
USC, but those are our sports. We're going to keep going back to those. And because you and I were just having those conversations at the Cardinals game. We were watching them in action and we were talking about those things. But there's also something to be said for, whoever's training Aaron Judge, whether it's the New York Yankees strength coach or if he outsources. I don't know. Actually, I'd be pretty interested to find that out, because here you have a 6'7" dude who is like 285. I think he's listed.
Judge is a freak. He's like one of the freakiest guys in the MLB.
And you want to talk about one of the free? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, not only do you have the Jose Altuves or the Mookie Bettses that are, 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", and then you have Aaron Judge, who's 6'7", but it's not like Aaron Judge is a freaking clunker. He plays center field for the Yankees, which, like, first of all, sick. But he plays plays center field in the big leagues, hits 50 to 60 homers a year, can steal bases. Not that he's stealing at the rate of Shohei or Ellie De La Cruz is the next player I was going to get to here in a second. But he can steal bases. He's a very good outfielder. He's got a cannon of an arm. He can move. Like, talk about a freak.
Which doesn't make sense. He came into the MLB as a rookie at like 23 or 24, 25 maybe.
No, I think it was 25.
Which is that blows my mind because of the fact that he's such a freak that it took that long to get him in the league.
Yeah, he kind of sucked at first.
It
It wasn't. I mean, okay. His rookie year, I'm pretty sure he hit 50-something homers. But that was his first full season. But prior to that, like, it was a little ugly at times.
Gotcha.
Now it's not. I mean, this is a dude that hits over 300 and has hit 62 homers in a year and could do it again this year. But so you have that. And then I just mentioned Ellie De La Cruz on the Reds. Connor, shout out to your Reds. I hate you and I hate the Reds, but he'll be happy to hear this. Like Ellie De La Cruz, for example, he's 6'5", but he's a beanpole. He's a beanpole. But he just stole his, as of recording, his 65th bag this year. So like that dude can fly.
65 is crazy.
Yeah, which like my dad or our dads or anyone that's a little bit older is going to be like, he's only at 65. Back in the day, they were stealing 150 plus. Like, okay, different sport now.
Your dad is so funny, bro. He would say exactly that too.
But, he's a beanpole. However, he can throw it 100 across the diamond from shortstop. Literally throws it 100. He is a switch hitter. He's a switch hitter, so he hits from both sides of the plate. He can hit homers. He can get normal hits. He's not a great hitter. He's just a young hitter for the baseball side of things. But that's a freak.
It's a freak. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ronald Acuna Jr. last year hit 40 whatever homers, stole 70 bags also. A dude that has that much power in a swing, but is also that fast and quick and powerful on the base paths, that's a freak. And the reason those guys are able to, all three of those names that I just touched on, like, they have the correct guidance.
Yeah, and it's focused effort along with that genetic aspect. Yeah,
exactly.
Is what it is, 100%.
Yes.
Because if you don't even attempt to complement your genetic aspects and whatnot, it'd be the same thing as like, if I decided to try and do basketball again, like that wouldn't be complementary to what I actually play or something.
Sure.
It'd be better than most people because I'm tall,
Right.
and whatnot, but that's it.
Right.
Outside of that, it wouldn't have helped me at all.
Although for NBA, you'd be a small guy.
Exactly.
We both would.
Exactly. Even D1 college, I'd be small, probably D2, D3 too. But
I mean, freaking Purdue just had that Edie guy that was, I think he was 9'3".
I knew you were about to say some dumbass number there. What was he, like 7'5", 7'6"?
Yeah, something like that.
But
yeah.
either way, yeah. like, so height-wise, the NBA has crazy freaks and whatnot. But, you know, again, like, if you're noticing your kid's growing like a beanpole and by 8th grade he's 6'8" or something like that, like, obviously he should be playing basketball.
And please, please feed him.
Yeah,
for the love of God, please feed him.
That poor kid needs it.
Yeah.
Like when you're at 6'8", you need to eat.
Well, take Zach Edey, for example. If he didn't have the proper guidance on nutrition, because he was, you know, 7, whatever he was, 7'4", 5, something crazy. When he's on the floor, he looks skinny. But you look him up and he's 350 pounds.
Right.
And it's like, even still, he's got more room in there.
That's how crazy filling out that frame is, too.
Exactly.
That's why Shaq at his highest playing weight was 400 pounds.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Yao Ming was the same because it's not like he was a
sure.
beanpole.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Yao manhandled dudes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shaq was the ultimate dude to manhandle people. I mean, just Shaq is probably one of the biggest freaks, if not the biggest freak in the NBA of all time.
Just don't put him on a free throw line.
No, definitely not. Which, you know, we won't count the free throws like a freak thing, but, you know, like, yeah, you're right. Don't put him there or the 3-point line, but, you know, that'd be painful. But I mean, again, like Shaq literally was 7'1", 7'2", whatever it is, probably 7 foot, 7'1", somewhere in there. And was that 400 pounds top playing weight? Just running dudes over.
Right.
Running dudes over in the NBA, which is like best era of the NBA. Like arguably was when Kobe and Shaq were together.
Yeah.
Honestly, looking back on stuff there, I'm like, this is the NBA I would have loved to see.
MJ.
Yeah,
MJ
and the
times
MJ
as well.
era. Yeah, 100%. But like, you know, obviously basketball is one of those sports where you can tell. Football is probably one of those sports you can tell with your kid, like if they are genetically gifted for that sport or whatnot. Again, 5'6" dudes we talked about, like that. There's wrestling. Wrestling's a great soccer. Still, soccer players can still be that short.
Yeah.
MMA. All like you have all these other different options.
Even hockey and baseball.
Even hockey and baseball.
You know? Because hockey and baseball are more technical sports. A little more finesse involved.
Yeah, 5'6" is tough for hockey for sure.
No doubt.
And now, granted, there's I think like probably 2 or 3 guys in the NHL that are about that height or shorter.
And that's just why you have to figure out ways to stand out that much more, you know? Like, same thing for baseball. Like, if you're at a big showcase or a big tryout or, you know, you're at spring training, if you're in the pros, like, if you're 5'6", 170, and the guy behind you in line is 6'3", 205, they're absolutely going to be looking at the 6'3" dude first.
You're going to have to be working 3 times as hard as him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
which
it's not
again,
impossible.
It can be earned. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And you know, the sports we're talking about when it comes to football and basketball is because the biggest freaks go into those sports.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest freaks went into rugby or something like that, obviously would be saying, you know, like be aware of rugby and whatnot, which there are some freaks in rugby for sure. No doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like again, this could go for any sport and whatnot. I think it's actually an important point to encourage kids to explore other sports because of that reason. I don't think I explored enough sports myself. I played hockey up until I was like 13, then started playing lacrosse. So at the time, it was the one sport I played. I should have played 2, 3 other sports along that time at that point in time.
I mean, one name we haven't mentioned that is absolutely genetic freak and was clearly made for his sport is Michael Phelps.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That dude's arms are as wide as this room.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And then he's talked about his diet and how much he would eat and all this and how much he would train. And like, it's crazy.
Wasn't he crushing like 7,000, 8,000
Yeah,
calories?
it was something like that.
Something ridiculous. Yeah.
And
his mindset's also unbelievable.
it's awesome.
Have you seen him? Like when like that Australian swimmer was talking trash in the US and whatnot?
Oh yeah. And he goes, if they would have said that and I was still swimming, like it's game over for you.
Yeah.
It's game over.
No, you just put your nail in the coffin.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
Which I love that.
And we were like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah.
Because not only is it like an athlete mindset, but also like for the country, like that's awesome.
Right.
Like, why do you think this dude has 20 whatever gold medals in his career?
26 or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, genetic freak, but also that mindset and that training that comes along with it. Like he was dialed in along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna do it, especially like we said, if you are like the smaller stature and whatnot, you know, the less of the freak or whatever, you're going to have to put in the extra work.
Right.
You're going to, like in Mitchell's case, like if he wanted to play running back in the NFL, he'd have to get to 5'9", 210.
Oh yeah.
He'd have to. Like he'd have no other option.
And be able to run.
And be able to be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like again, Chris McCaffrey's I think 5'11", 5'10".
Probably. And look at how he trains.
Exactly.
It's like a freak.
Heavy as hell.
Yeah. Derrick Henry.
He loads shit up and he does sprints.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Look at Michael Chandler's training. We send it back and forth all the time. You know, the guy in the
He's
UFC.
got some crazy stuff on there.
He does. Some of it's very.
I think he just likes to work out super hard. I love
He
it.
does.
I love it. Yeah,
He does.
I love it.
And it's never anyone claiming that this is the way to be a UFC champ or anything like that. It's just like he loves to train hard, and they combine some crazy stuff together, but he gets it done.
Yeah.
He's willing to do it, you know?
And then he goes and beats the shit out of people in sparring and
Right.
whatnot. Yeah.
Right. And we thought we were going to get
We thought
serious.
he was going to beat the crap out of Connor, but whatever. That's okay. I'm totally, yeah. But he's skiing the slopes in Swiss Alps right now. So yeah.
Sorry for blowing your guys' ears out there with me inhaling through my nose.
That was a good cocaine impression. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just it's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
Getting back to the original point.
These ones, the original point, absolutely possible. The UFC transformations, and they're not taking steroids.
USC, not UFC.
Yeah, I say UFC. Oh, geez, we were talking about, I guess. USC transformations, absolutely possible. They're not taking steroids just because you're a loser who sits on the couch and only trains 30 minutes a day or something like that. Okay. Or like even if you do train 30 minutes to an hour a day or whatever, obviously these guys are going to have a bigger transformation than you.
Yeah.
Because they have all these tools gifted to them.
Right.
Gifted, not really gifted, earned,
Sure.
but
available
to
them. Yeah.
So that's the overarching point is like these one are crazy athletes 100%, but I mean, you have all these tools at your access. You have all the different aspects of like, if you have the guidance we were talking about, it's going to lead you down the right path. You're going to go the right direction. Again, play around with multiple sports, see what you fit in best at, see how you can use your size, whether you're large, small, et cetera, it doesn't matter, and go from there as a young kid.
Right.
And even so, like as an adult, like, we've found that we really enjoy pickleball and golf.
Right.
Outside of our two particular sports and whatnot.
Right.
So we still play that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not too demanding really on
Sure.
our bodies either, but it's super fun.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it still gets us moving and whatnot, that type of stuff.
Right.
So there's other stuff you should explore as an adult too. It doesn't just stop after you're an athlete.
And it's a way for us to release some anger as far as the golf course.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Or actually, it probably makes us.
Yeah,
more
I was going to say
angry.
it makes me more angry. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was like us at the driving range. And I just sliced one to the right hard. And I was like, I'm going to throw this club. I'm going to break it over my knee right now.
I cannot wait for us to do a golf vlog.
We're
There's going to have to be a lot of editing done, or
not a lot of censoring is what's
lot
going to
of-
happen.
lot of-
Beep.
It's just
We're going to
gosh.
get Mitchell to come along, and he's just going to be brooding in the corner
Yes.
the whole time.
Yes. I mean, it is just, it's going to be brutal, but it's going to be so funny.
Oh, yeah.
So funny.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. I love this type of stuff. I love that we get to talk about this type of stuff, and we get to actually influence people on this and whatnot. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
But, again, there's always BS around every strength training concept there is. Like, there's no doubt. We're not saying we're the top tier because we listen to top tier guys like that
Exactly.
we know above us and whatnot.
Exactly.
We take advice from them and whatnot, Right. So it's like, but man, is there some BS out there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at you, Barcelona.
Yeah.
World.
Right. 100% there is. And,
Or some people that are crying about, that they're not jacked.
right.
But
Do the work.
it's like, yeah, like if you worked out, then you'd probably see some kind of physique change. But,
Exactly.
instead you're crushing a 6-pack on a Wednesday night.
Right.
So
With the ruffles.
with the ruffles,
Is that you?
not the 6-pack, maybe the ruffles.
Mitch,
Do
is
like
he-
beer.
Is
but-
he crushing 6-packs all the time now?
No, not six packs. I can get behind Ruffles though. The sour cream.
Oh.
Any flavor really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're awesome.
yeah.
Ruffles are.
The sour cream and cheese, though. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's game changer.
Yeah. I mean, Ruffles are him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. The chip. Yeah. 100%. Oh, it's Lay's sour cream and onion. No, it's not.
Chips are awesome.
It's not. Yeah.
So
It's not Doritos either, but Doritos are great.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
Pretzels are always good. Big pretzel guy.
Pretzels. We're just listing off snacks right now.
It's like these guys want us to
We are
train with them.
hungry as hell. Oh man, that's literally that's why we actually work out right there, so we can actually eat stuff that we enjoy every once in a while. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh,
Right.
Not like I'm crushing Ruffles on the daily or something like that, but man, like if I didn't train, I'd be disgusting. I'd be disgusting.
We would be on my 500-pound life for sure. We would look like Al Weezy.
We'd look like literally the planet Uranus.
Out of all the planets,
I know. Sorry, what's it called? The Uranus Fudge Factory down 44 in Missouri.
yeah, there is that. Stop at Uranus.
So that was probably the last planet name I saw, and that probably came into my head there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Gosh.
The Fudge Factory.
All right. Before we get too off track here,
Yes.
we've covered Uranus now. So that's awesome. At the end of all of our non-guest episodes, or at least most of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that's submitted by you guys, the listeners or the viewers. We have a few different ways that we want you guys to submit those to us. So first, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. I see you over there. You can also DM them to us individually, or you can text them to us individually if you have our number. You can email them to us, extricationfitness@gmail.com. I know it's a mouthful. There's an email button on our Instagram bio. It is also in our Facebook bio. And last, you can leave them in the comments of our Instagram posts or our YouTube posts. So all these podcasts are on YouTube. We also have vlogs on there. You can leave them in the comments on any of them for that matter. Or we post multiple clips a week of the podcast episodes onto Instagram. You can leave them in the comments on there as well. We get them together. We give them to Money Mitch. We don't take an in-depth look at them, but he'll pick one out that applies to the topic of the episode. Sometimes he'll just come up with one, and then sometimes they're just like super outlandish and funny. But anyway, Mitch the Midget, what you got?
Wow.
It's better than the other one.
Is there any moral debate on how much universities can spend on their football programs, right? So, Alabama, of course, probably spends, I've seen numbers as high as $60 million on their football program.
I'm surprised not higher than that.
I was going to say, I
to be
bet it's
completely honest
higher.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it almost like a pay-to-play type game, right? Because, are they getting a return on their investment? I'd say so. I'd say Alabama's getting a return on that $60 million or whatever the number is now. Should that be limited, especially with NIL coming in? I just had a conversation with our barber today. There's a high school seniors getting NIL deals within Missouri while they're seniors in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy to me, one.
Oh, yeah.
But is it starting to become more of a moral argument where it's a pay to play? If the university has money, well, of course people are going to come there, and then you're going to start getting consolidation of that. Should that be controlled in any way?
Oh, man. I mean, that's tough. It's tough. But I also see, and you kind of alluded to this, but I see how much money the football program also brings in to the university.
I was going to say, that's the reason they can have the crazy classrooms, the rec centers, all that stuff.
Yes.
Because
Because it's not like ticket sales for the football game is only going to the football weight room to update it. It's going to the classrooms. It's going to the dorms. It's going to, the student center, like you just mentioned, and who knows what else, So when you look at college sports at most schools, there's no doubt about it that the football is what brings people as fans, and they grow up loving this school or that school, and it's because of football. It's because of football. I mean, yeah, are there people that love North Carolina basketball? No doubt. No doubt. North Carolina basketball brings in a shit ton of money for North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Duke is the same way. But are they bringing in as much as the Alabama football program? Is the Vanderbilt arguably the best, or Tennessee arguably the couple of the best baseball schools? Are they bringing in anywhere near the amount of money that Tennessee football is bringing in for the school? Absolutely not. I'd be very interested to see the numbers, actually, just out of curiosity. But when the football team and the football program is bringing in that amount of money to the school, I think it's justified. I really do. For them to have, the state-of-the-art weight rooms and the state-of-the-art nutrition centers, and probably have some kind of personal chefs or cooks or
they
something,
definitely do. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily see a problem with that. There's people that buy season tickets to Alabama football, every game that's played at Bryant-Denny is sold out to the brim. Rival game or not, it's sold out. You know, and I don't know how much that stadium holds, but it's probably around 100,000.
It's over 100,000. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
103, 105,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan.
Our buddy Isaac would know, but yeah.
Yeah. Michigan's football stadium holds like 112 or
I
something.
think it's 112, 110.
I mean,
like that. Yeah.
that's an insane amount of people. Then you times that by average ticket price. I mean, and that's just in tickets. You're not
I
talking
was gonna
concessions and gear and whatever else, because now
tailgates. That's all got going. Yeah.
you know, the bars around and stuff like
Yep.
that. Indirectly, all of that money is supporting the university
And the college town itself.
in the college town
Yeah.
itself, which again supports the university because it brings people to Tuscaloosa or whatever, or Knoxville.
Nobody's going to Alabama other than University of Alabama. for that
Eh,
reason.
right,
Yeah.
right. You know, unless you're going to a different school to play a sport or something, or there's a really good school for a particular reason. But you're absolutely correct. So I think it's an insane amount of money that does get spent. Because I bet you it is more than 60 million even, because I think Nick Saban was making like 7 a year.
No, Nick Saban might have been making 10 to 12.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Because I know Iowa State's coach Matt Campbell was at like 5 to 6.
Oh, okay.
And then I know the University of Iowa. Oh, sorry. University of Iowa coach. He was making like 7, 8 or something
Really?
a year. So I think Saban was at 10, 11. 12.
I wonder what
Yeah.
Drinkwitz is making at Mizzou, actually.
I think actually really good money from what I understand. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Drinkwood's making crazy money.
We'll see if Mitch can find that number.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be on there. It's got to be on a contract, right?
Oh, I would assume.
I would assume, yeah.
I mean, that's a public university, so theoretically, that's public knowledge.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think about. You know,
Yeah.
then the assistant coaches, you know, who knows, the biggest schools, the SEC schools, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're getting paid up to $1 million a year, maybe 1 to
Could
2,
be.
give or take,
Could
or
be.
you know, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. They're getting paid a lot. For sure. You know, so there's that. But it really is that investment aspect. And you know, if we were to sit here and hate on colleges that spend a lot of money on their programs, just hating on winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, to a certain
right.
like those SEC schools built their universities into powerhouses.
It's paywalling me out, but it says the glimpse I got was $4 million a year, guaranteed $4 million a year.
For Drinkwitz. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. For
I'm-
those of you
I'm
that
sure-
don't
I'm
know,
sure
that's
he'll go
Mizzou's
up
head
soon.
football coach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll probably go up soon.
Yeah,
That's
because the players love playing for
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and he's bringing success back to Mizzou football.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, so yeah, I think it would be kind of a hate on winning thing if we were to. You know, of course, like everybody, you know, if somebody's a fan of Iowa State, they might dislike the fact that Alabama spends a lot more money on their
Sure.
program. But like, come on. Like they've won 10 plus championships or whatever it is, or
Sure.
something crazy,
Yeah.
some crazy number like that. Saban himself won what, 7, 6?
Something like that.
Somewhere in that number.
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable legacy there.
And not to mention all the players he has in the NFL now too.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, so that's another
which,
thing.
which again, some people would argue that like the NFL system is more fair with the draft or whatnot. But what do you want to do? Draft college players?
Right.
How would you do that?
Right.
How? And again, even the point is too, is even before all the money on all the NIL stuff, et cetera, which has gotten crazy for sure. And
Yeah.
hopefully doesn't distract the athletes too much. That's
Sure.
my biggest concern there. But the athletes were already kind of distracted. Anyways, you know, even before the money was even more so involved, because, you know, obviously these schools have, before NIL, had a lot of money injected into them. The players weren't getting paid, you know,
Sure.
so to speak, whatever you want to guess there. But, you know, so they weren't getting paid. But even then, Alabama had an unfair advantage, in quotations, you know, because of the fact that they won a bunch.
Right.
So kids wanted to go there.
Right.
They're like, the money isn't the only reason the kids go there. Like the best players that go to the NFL want to win.
Right.
They go there to win.
Winning and Nick Saban. That was all the convincing
Yep.
they needed. Yeah.
So like, are you going to get mad at Alabama for hiring a guy who won 6 national championships? You know, like that's another
Right.
thing too, and building a legacy as a program.
Right.
You know, you're going to hate it on LSU for picking up Joe Burrow from Ohio
Sure.
State in the transfer portal.
All the players that Georgia has had, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't seem logical to be able to hate on it to a certain degree. And like, what are you going to do? Put a salary cap on what teams can spend
Right.
on their team and whatnot? You can spend $40 million
Right.
max.
Right.
And some schools won't even get to that point.
Sure.
And whatnot, probably I would assume. But I don't know.
I think if we were going to have is it moral to do this with college sports, I think where that discussion would have to go is the whole NIL with players. I was happy that NIL, I don't know why I always have so much trouble saying that, but I was happy that was implemented because my same argument stands. I know how much money the football programs bring into those schools. Again, we're not even talking about how they're on primetime television every week.
Exactly.
You have all these, College Game Day and Fox, what was there's called Big Noon Saturday and all these things that are revolved around college football, and then not to mention too, the college football playoff, just the atmosphere. Those are at NFL stadiums that are sold out to the brim. The whole world is watching. I mean, we're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars being involved here around just college football. We're not even talking about other sports potentially, but the reason we are talking about college football is because it's the biggest college sport. Undeniably, it brings in the most, it gets the most attention, has the most fandom, all that stuff. But where we could have that type of discussion or this type of discussion with NIL, like I think there's some kinks that they gotta work out with the whole NIL stuff because we have guys transferring year to year from school to school just because they're getting more money at a different school, or they're sitting out of games because they don't want to risk getting hurt because of their NIL deal at a different school next year. We saw that. I suppose it's a little bit different of a story with Marvin Harrison with Ohio State. He didn't play in the Cotton Bowl against Mizzou. I guess that was more because he was getting ready for the draft, I suppose. But which, to a degree, I actually do get that because it's like, man, what if you blew your ACL out in the Cotton Bowl? It's not a playoff game.
Yep.
Okay, to a degree, I can appreciate that. But there were literally guys sitting out of the bowl games that were quote-unquote meaningless, which they're not because you're still playing for something, especially in something like the Cotton Bowl.
Absolutely.
But they were sitting out because they already had an NIL deal worked out for a different school for the following year while they were still at Ohio State or whatever other school they were at. And it's like, okay, that's not right. So there's got to be some rules surrounding the whole transfer portal thing. And that's actually all sports too. Because even baseball had stuff like that. But so I don't think that's correct. If you're Alabama and I'm Georgia, we've got a guy right now, but you offered him $100,000 more. So now he's going to sit out of my season so that he can get the deal from that school. Like that feels a little shady on Alabama, a little bit on the player, of course, too, but that feels wrong of Alabama to be able to do something like that to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think if we were to have a morality discussion around money and college football and players and things like that, I think that's more the direction that it would go.
I agree. It would definitely be mainly focused around the NIL aspect.
Yeah.
Because again, like if we're ignoring the NIL, the amount of influx of cash that comes from football and college football and is what I mean when it comes to schools is unmatched.
Yeah.
So you take that into consideration, you're not gonna be able to change that. Like if the football program brings in a bunch of money, they're gonna spend a bunch of money on the team to make more money and whatnot.
Facilities, team,
like,
stadium, whatever.
Make the school better, etc.
Yeah.
NIL 100% because again, the problem is like you have the money aspect come into play where you are sitting out and whatnot. Like there's no doubt you have to have some kind of regulations to some degree.
Yeah.
Of it. You can't just be the wild, wild west.
Right.
Whoever pays me the most, I'm going there.
Right.
Like again, because then it turns into the NFL.
Or any professional sport.
Or any professional sport.
Yeah.
You're just getting a contract basically, and it's like, okay, that's not exactly the point here. You're getting to that point.
Right.
Because if you don't make the NFL, you're not getting an NIL deal past that, are you?
Correct.
Last time I checked. Yeah. I mean, you might get some
maybe
local advertisements.
Yeah, or like now there are like the XFL or what's it called now? UFL.
Yeah.
Now that they combined with the
UFL.
Rocks thing.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So there are still options, but your point obviously still remains. We didn't even mention too. I know we're getting close to an hour and a half here. But we didn't even mention now too, like this year they released another college football video game. So there's even more money to the programs and to the players because the players, because of NIL, can make money off of that because their names are being used. Again, like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the players making some money here off of these things because people are absolutely going to go to Mizzou football games this year to see Luther Burden. There's a good chance he could be the number 1 pick in the draft,
They ranked him as a top 5 player in college football this year.
Exactly. So, like, I would love to go watch him play. Like, that'd be awesome. So, yeah, I think he should be paid. He is bringing people to the stands. People last year, as weird as he is, like, people last year went to USC, coincidentally enough, to see Caleb Williams play quarterback.
Weird's one word for it.
Yeah. That was the YouTube okay version.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with all of that. There's just got to be some rules, or take a good look at what we're doing here and make sure, we're doing the right things.
Right, which can be easier said than done, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like it's not going to be an easy process because they kind of just introduced it and said, do it.
Right.
Go crazy, to a certain degree. Obviously, we don't know all the ins and outs of NIL and all that stuff, but, the point remains, and because it even could go for a school like University of Minnesota where, their hockey program probably rivals the amount of money the football program brings in to a certain degree.
Could be.
Because, I mean, that is the sport there,
right.
At University of Minnesota. But so it would even go for a situation like that. But, we mainly talk college football and college basketball because, again, they are the sports that bring in the most money.
Absolutely.
It just is what it is. Like, they're the ones that are going to get the most attention for regulations and whatnot.
Right.
Maybe in college baseball and college hockey, you can skirt by a little bit more. Who knows?
Right.
With NIL stuff, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think there's any clear answer on that. But I think when it comes to NIL, that's the one part of the financial aspect of college football that can be adjusted, so to speak. Yeah.
Nope. No doubt. Well, guys, that's going to be episode 132 of the Untapped Podcast. If you enjoyed this, guys, please continue sharing the show and showing the love that you guys always do. It really does help us grow. It helps us get new viewers, new listeners, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow this as much as possible and grow our training as well. So, guys, for real, if you're still with us here, first of all, thank you. But trying to grow our training as well. Not trying, because we definitely are. Like I mentioned here, these last couple of weeks, we've continued to get more new people signed on, which is fantastic. So, guys, if you have any questions about Untapped training, or you've been considering us for a little bit, like, let this be your sign, give us a chance. You won't regret it. You won't. Promise. So, continue sharing the show. Continue sharing the love. Until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Time, I'm a liver. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Anything worth doing is a tough. Cause I'm a live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings, I'm a big